What we give to them. This is a 50-year struggle. It is the best conversation I have had in many, many, many decades. It represents the heightened stage of the development of struggle. And it represents the fact that the Chinese the Red Army, the Red Army took China from the Chinese nationalists and from the Japanese by marching out of Yunnan province in the mountains there and wiping out everything that was not the Red Army. We must wipe out everything that is not Pan-African. We must wipe because it stands in the way, and it is perpetrators. Perpetrators. Look at young people talk about perps. Perpetrating. They are perpetrators of crimes against us. And criminals must be brought down. Whether they're shooters over here in that project or whether they're the leadership in Kenya, they must be brought down. And we make no compromise with nonsense. We make no compromise with politicians. Brothers say he wasn't a politician. Mansour, I'm not a politician either. I'm a political. And that's different. I'm not going to give you a street light for voting for me. You know, I'm going to try to give you Africa until the day I die. You understand? And the one thing that we can pass on, there's a lot of young people in this room who are grandchildren of people like me, and there are those who are sons of people like me. One interesting phenomenon is there are more grandchildren than there are sons. Because sometimes stuff skips a generation. For the old gray heads, we got it from our grandparents, not from our parents. Our grandparents were the Garvey people. They were the Nation of Islam. They were the church ladies. They were our grandparents, not our parents, who did that. Now we are grandparents, and we're finding we can speak to our grandchildren. We're not speaking to our children. They want to do different. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Just know what we're doing, what our ingredients are. When you bake a cake, when you bake fufu, you got to know what to put in it. You just can't put anything in it, you know. And you know if you got the ingredients, we can make this happen. And we can change the power relationships between us and all other people. And we can, the best of us. Mansour spoke about, we come and I say to you, hello, you know, you're my sister. I didn't ask, who are you? You come to my village, and he said, you're accepted until you're proven bad. Well, that's good. And once power relationships change, we can make that, we can contribute that to humanity. Where other people might have gone bad, might have gone awry from basic humanity, we, the least in the world, can give that back to them. And that will be our gift. And for thousands of years into the future, they will say Africa gave us our humanity back. They gave us our humanity in a way that moved us out of being parts of machines, the cogs in machines like in Asia, or as rapacious, you know, individuals in Europe. We can give that back to humanity. Humanity hasn't lost it. They need it, they will accept it. It can be our gift. It's better to give a gift, isn't it? You know, what it say, it's better to give than to receive. Well, let us give this. We can give this to the world, but we cannot give it without this. We cannot give it until this is one country, the United States of Africa, under a society in which equitable caste systems are destroyed, rich men and women are destroyed, pigs in the form of human beings are reduced. And I mean that by those who want to gobble up everything you see and have no human relationships. They just gobble up things. Just gobble up things. And they just like the big old hog, you know, you see in the things. And their whole economic systems. That's all they do. We must destroy that. It is anti-human. We want to place humanity back in power. We Africans play a critical role in that. Humanity must take control of this planet. Screw all these nations. Excuse my language. There's China, Ghana, Jamaica, America, France, Iceland. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. We are all on the planet. There's no such things as American exceptionalism in a positive form. All this American exceptionalism is negative. George Washington is a real estate thief. That's the first president. Nothing honorable about what he did. Him and the French fighting in Ohio, right here. The French-Indian War, to steal the land. To steal the land from the Indians here and turn it over to tobacco plantation owners in Virginia. That's what that's about. That's what the American Revolution was about. The French Revolution was countered by Napoleon. They cut the heads off the maids of the aristocrats so that that line would not survive. And it's become known as the Reign of Terror. But it was the reign of purging society from certain kinds of ideas. And I'm not talking about willy-nilly killing people, but the maids who lived in the big castles carried that infection of aristocracy, of Count de Villars is so important, and everybody else is less important. We are given by God to lead the world. That was the attitude. It was against humanity. And so they struck it down. They got rid of all the people tied to it or who could attest to it in court. That she's the new queen. Nobody was live. The Russians did the same thing. Nobody could figure out who Anastasia was. Why? Because wasn't no maids and people who worked for them, servants are pushing their line and caring for them alive to say, here's Anastasia, I know her. They was all gone too. You purge society of all of these bad ideas. Sometimes it means the people, but most importantly, it means the ideas. And those who want to make a war against humanity, I'm not that. And anyone who takes what I say to mean that is a fool. What I'm talking about is a war against ideas. And those ideas are implanted in the heads of certain classes of people and their cohorts. The ruling class in America who own the factories, Dow Chemical, Microsoft, etc., etc. Barack Obama is a servant. He's the maid to them. Romney is the loan shark to them. He is the butler who handles the food bill. Neither one of them are capitalists. Neither one of them rule or can rule. They work for those who own. And you can't even drive past, nobody in this room can drive to, past, or near where these people live. Because nobody in this room knows where any of these people live. Some people in this room might know somebody got a mansion out in Maxley or Beverly Hills. They don't live there. That's where the Obamas and the Romneys live. And the movie stars and the local owner of the store, the department store. The people who own the ways the department store gets their goods don't live nowhere you can find. They meet in Davos. They meet in world forums to discuss how to divide up the world. And they are not American in interest. They are not African in interest. They're not French in interest. They're not German in interest. They're capitalist class in interest. What is good for us who own the world? How do we manage it? And who do we put in power to manage it so that we are able to extract the maximum from it? We talk about taxes. How much taxes, what percent of taxes? What about the 40% of wealth that's profit? We ain't got taxes to pave roads, to build hospitals, to build schools. But 40% of what is produced socially by all of humanity is now taken by 2 or 3% of humanity. You work, everybody in this room works. And I take 40% of everything you've got in your pocket. That's what it is. That's what it amounts to. Every time I see you, you have to give up 40%. That's not taxes. That's taking the wealth that you have produced through your labor and alienating it to a few who say, because I own the land. Who gave you the land? Who was the first to say, sister, you own all of Ohio? Who did that? Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember who gave Ohio to her? Who gave London to the Queen? Does anybody remember? Did God do it? Because if he did, somebody should have witnessed it. Because the courts say that. They make rules. So if God, under whatever religion, did it, bring to me the witness. Bring to me the witness. You see? But I own the land. Thus you must give me the rent. Why? Because I got the power. You see? I got the power.